Hi, my name is Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. We've been looking at this rivalry theme, as you know, for a number of weeks. And I am always struck by how each week's news seems to amplify what we're talking about. I was noticing that there was a coup attempt in Turkey, which is exactly this whole element of rivalry going on between the civilian government, a civilian Islamic government, and the military, and both of them trying to exert control over who's going to run the show ultimately. And historically, the military in Turkey has been sort of in charge of the constitution and has been sort of the guardian of the state. And now the civilian government's grown very strong, and the coup attempt looks like it's failing. But it tells me that there was some kind of shared desire, object, or goal that overlaps between the civilian authority and the military, and it escalates into rivalry and into conflict and even to violence. Hundreds of people have been killed. And this is on top of a recent decision by an international tribunal to say that China's attempt to co-opt most of the South China Sea is a total sham, and that other countries have real interest in the area, and the Chinese government's saying, no, we're not interested in this at all. And the rise of Donald Trump, which is a kind of white nationalism reasserting itself in the States. And of course, there's nationalism running rampant in Russia and other parts of the world. And this is all an escalating sense of rivalry and potential conflict and violence that's unfolding around us. And it can happen in such micro ways. I remember waking up one morning with my wife and just saying to her, did you have a good sleep? And she said to me, well, tonight I want my half of the bed, meaning that I was hogging the bed. And I'm looking at her going, what are you talking about? You got most of the bed. I've just got a little sliver here. And these things can happen in such little microwaves in our lives. This shared goal, there's only so much bed to go around. We both want our share of it. And escalates up into potentially rivalry for who's going to get the bed, and then the conflict, potential, violence, harsh words, such. And this is so much a part of the world. I noticed the story today we talked about was in the book of Numbers, and it was about the people of Israel. They'd left Egypt. They'd been in rivalry with the Egyptians and had this escalating conflict and violence going on that culminates in this edict of Pharaoh to kill all the infant boys that are born to the Israelites, which is a kind of genocide edict. And then, of course, Moses comes along and the plagues and all that, and Israel finally gets out from the rivalry game with the Egyptians, wander through the desert. They come up to Canaan, and now they're ready to go into the Promised Land when they realize just how powerful the Canaanites are, people who live in Canaan in the Promised Land. And all of a sudden, people are shying away from entering the rivalry game with the Canaanites. And they want to go back to Egypt. But that's a rivalry game for them, too. And the truth is, if you live in this world today, you can't escape the rivalry game. You're in it, whether you like it or not. Even if you try to diminish yourself, you're still caught up in the game. So it's not like you can step away from the game in its entirety. And the real challenge for us is to decide how we're going to live in the world of rivalry. And it seems to me that Jesus laid out a pretty specific mandate to us to be the hands of God and to be the ambassadors of peace and love. And he's also taught us some ways of managing those escalating moments. So when someone slaps you on the face, that's a moment of escalation. That's an invitation into rivalry. And he's saying to us, well, turn the other cheek. Like, just don't enter into the rivalry game. And there's a deeper reframe that Jesus calls us to look upon one another as brothers and sisters. We have the same source. We're made by the same God, Father, Mother of all, who's the source of all people. And we're all made in that divine image, and we're all journeying together back home to God somehow. And we share this unity of life and purpose together. In the video I watched on NATO and Russia, looking at it from both sides are teaching their children how to use guns. And it's kind of scary, to be honest. It may give people a sense of security, but it's false security. The only real security we have in life is joining together in perfect love and celebrating the joy of our common heritage. You and I, we have this wonderful chance to be that ambassador. So let the flow of God's unstoppable love move through you and join in the holy enterprise of ending the rivalry game once and for all.